Hello. Welcome to First Dog on the Moon's Spoken Cartoons. I'm cartoonist First Dog on the Moon. And today's cartoon is about trees. It's a three-frame cartoon that appeared in The Guardian on the 8th of October 2025. As ever, there's a little heading at the top. Three frames after that, let's get into it. The heading reads, "There are few things in this greedy epoch that enrage me quite like people murdering publicly owned trees to get a better view of some other bit of nature." And underneath that text, I've drawn a person with a chainsaw, a tree that they've clearly just chopped down, another tree that looks like they're about to chop down, and then over on the right hand side, there's a person with their hands on their hips and they're yelling and looking very cross. On to the second frame, we have a picture I've drawn. It's a beautiful picture of the coast. There's a beach, there's the sea, there's a cliff, there's some greenery, but there's also some tree stumps and a couple of signs. Now, at the top of this frame, it reads, "Australia destroys an mcg of trees every 86 seconds. We really hate trees. And nobody hates trees more than privileged, coastally adjacent narcissists who kill communal greenery to get fancy water views and increase their property values. It happens a lot. In one example in Sydney, more than 300 trees were destroyed. Not sure why someone didn't notice that happening, but anyway. And then the two signs there on this little bit of the coast. One is bright red and it says, "This sign will remain until the trees grow back." You can see it's blocking the view. And the other sign, another one off in the distance, but just as big, it says, "You suck." Onto frame two. We have another coastal view with two houses and another big sign in the middle. And the text at the top reads, "Can it ever be stopped?" There are calls for a national tree database, open brackets, question mark, close brackets, while councils resort to bigger fines, putting up signs, and even shipping containers where the trees were until new trees grow. Sadly, big signs also punish the people who live there and didn't chop down the trees, but more importantly, it reminds them to hate/blame their tree murdering neighbours, and I think that is beautiful. And in the image underneath this text, there are two people standing next to their two letterboxes. They're glaring at each other crossly, looking unhappy, and in between their two houses with their coastal views is an enormous sign that says, "Our national plant is a stump." And there's a picture of a stump. And underneath all of this, I've written, "A deterrent is one thing, but I want revenge." And on to our final frame. This is a list. I, I love a list. This list is First Dog suggested deterrents for narcissistic tree murderers. The first item, have their house windows blacked out or even concreted shut, doors too. And there's someone who's had their house windows blacked out and their door is shuttered with planks across it, bits of wood. The next on the list, house confiscated and given to homeless people. And on the left-hand side of that text, there's someone whose house has been confiscated. Excuse me, they're very cross. And on the right-hand side is a picture of someone who looks a little like me, handing a key to someone who I think we assume is probably homeless. Number three, build a tiny nuclear power plant on every illegally felled tree stump. And there's an illegally felled tree stump with a tiny nuclear power plant on top and someone being outraged next to it. Number four, they have to walk around in a tree suit. Someone very dejectedly walking around in a tree suit. I've drawn someone in tree jail for this next one. Huge fines or jail until the trees grow back. And then the last one, Bob Brown comes to your house and reads his tree poems over and over. And off in the distance, there's someone, we assume it's Bob Brown, saying, "I love trees and also bees." And then on the right-hand side of this final frame, someone is begging a police officer, please take me to jail. The suggestion being they don't want to hear any more of Bob Brown's poems. Interestingly, after he read this, Bob Brown sent me a poem about trees, and I'm going to read it to you now. Bob Brown's poem about trees. There was a tree which had a bee entangled in its bonnet. It stung the bark, but not the lark which tangled toes upon it. That's not a poem to find a home where I would like to con it. In Shakespeare's care it won't compare with a summer's day maid's sonnet. Warm regards, Bob Brown. And that's it for this episode of First Dog on the Moon's Spoken Cartoons. I hope you've had a lovely time. I've really had a lovely time. Please remember to like and subscribe and even comment if you want. If I get enough subscribers, YouTube have said they'll send me one of those inflatable frog suits that the people of Chicago are using to fight off ice. Wouldn't that be great? Anyway, thanks for listening.